The Truman Show, 1998, which is actually quite an interesting film. There's lots of things that I didn't know about this film when I was researching it. It's directed by Peter Weir, who did Dead Poets Society, Picnic at Hanging Rock. Truman Burbank, the story is, Truman Burbank, played by Jim Carrey, has an ordinary life in a pleasant little town, and he's lived there all his life. And what he doesn't know is that he is the star of a reality television show, and literally everyone else in his life is an actor. And the entire town that he lives in is fake. It's full of cameras. It's coordinated to ensure that the actors synchronise their actions with the script. Even the sun and the stars and the sky are not real. Everything, eventually, he starts to suspect that everything is not what he was led to believe, and that there was a deeper and more occluded reality behind his life. Now, the original script by Andrew Niccol went through 16 drafts and was a lot less family-friendly. It was a lot darker. For example, it was set in New York. Truman, although he wasn't called Truman, it was originally called The Malcolm Show. Truman had a drinking problem and was seeing a prostitute. And I don't know who it was in. It wasn't. This was in the draft of the screenplay. And he would be fighting to keep things like that a secret, but of course, actually everybody knew about it because it's a television show, including his wife. But he didn't know that. So, and it also had a different ending. After he went through that sky at the end, he went into his own souvenir store, and there were cardboard cutouts of himself that you could buy. And he even jumped onto a studio tour tram, and the driver was giving facts about Truman's life that he himself didn't even know. So Niccol originally wrote the lead role, as I say. It was called The Malcolm Show initially, and he originally wrote the lead role with Robin Williams in mind. Peter Weir, the director, he apparently based his characterisation on Michael Jackson. Terry Gilliam was at one point considered to be a director before Peter Weir was chosen. Once Jim Carrey was in, that dictated how the film was to develop. Philip Glass contributed minimal composition on piano, by which I mean minimalist composition, not the minimal amount of, it was the least you could do. Niccol originally was offered the chance to direct the film as part of his deal, but he hadn't ever directed a feature, so Paramount funded his filming of a single scene just to see if it would work as a test. So they gave him the money to do this one weekend, and he took a scene where Truman suspects he is being observed, and Truman grabs a baby from a passing woman and holds it to ransom, asking this woman if she knows his name. He was shouting really manically, "Say my name! I know you know me! Say my name! Or he'll drop the baby." And the woman panics, and Truman hands the baby back, and she accidentally says, "Thanks, Truman," as she takes the baby back. To shoot this test scene, Gary Oldman took the role of Truman. So somewhere there's a roll of film of that. Nobody's discovered that yet. By the way, Big Brother made its debut a year after the release of The Truman Show, so although we now think of reality TV shows as normal, it wasn't quite normal then. It was becoming normal. It wasn't really normal. There is actually a psychological condition known as the Truman Show delusion. In America, Joel Gold, a psychiatrist, mentions 5 patients with schizophrenia who believed their lives were reality television shows. He named the delusion the Truman Show delusion. The British Journal of Psychiatry reported similar cases in the UK. And the scriptwriter Andrew Niccol said, "You know you've made it when you have a disease named after you." Jim Carrey is apparently somewhat interested in a new Truman Show set in the present day being 2020. This is when he was talking about this. He doesn't entertain any reboots of any other films he's starred in, but The Truman Show is one film that he thinks might work today. The way that the world consumes information today is quite different from how it was in 1998. So he thinks an update might be worth exploring. He says he thinks The Truman Show is something that exists on a micro level now. So yeah, I kind of agree. 1998, The Truman Show. Thank you very much.